Jesus Christ, Claudia. You won. You got it.
Put her there for Isabel.
saxophonist Demitri Delancey. Now I have a really special treat for you guys. In honor of the 20th anniversary of his passing coming up later this week, I'd like to play an archived interview the station did with Mr. Delancey back in 1994, when the man was 55 years old. Now, he was in somewhat poor health at the time of its recording, so it had to be conducted as a call-in interview. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy. Mr. Delancey?
Hello, Tom.
How are you doing today, Mr. Delancey?
Oh, I'm doing horrible, Tom. Just horrible.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Is there anything in particular that's got you down?
I'm so fucking depressed today I can't even think. Yeah, I swear.
Yes, you may. And I'm sorry to hear that. If you're feeling up to it, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, go right ahead there, Jam.
Alright. Let me start by congratulating you on the success of your latest record, Shades of Delancey. This record is a compilation album, your first one in fact, that combines some of your greatest hits as well as some deep cuts and rarities that you feel are slept on, correct?
That's correct, Tom.
Now, I'm sure the success you've had with this most latest release isn't anything new. After all, with a catalog like yours, you've been no stranger to both critical and commercial success.
No, I wouldn't say that's true exactly.
Well, relatively speaking.
I would consider myself very poor, actually. I'm poorer now than I was when I started making records. And the critics, they hated a lot of my stuff when it came out.
But they eventually came around to it, yes?
Sort of.
Well, with the success you've had in winning over a loyal fan base of general listeners, do you feel a sense of pressure to stick to the kind of style that you know your fans will gravitate to, or do you feel the need to reinvent yourself with each new project?
Well, Tom, reinventing myself isn't something that I feel the need to do. It's something that just happens as I explore new avenues in my work. Whether or not these fans you mentioned agree with those avenues or not, it's none of my concern.
So you don't believe in fan service within your work, per se?
He just said he doesn't.
No.
Understood. So, Mr. Delancey.
You could just call me Demitri there, Tom.
Demitri. You've made lots of references to a sort of spirituality which pervades much of your work, and I was wondering if you'd care to expound upon that.
Well, I consider myself a very spiritual person by nature. I like to meditate, and music itself is a very spiritual thing. The sound waves themselves have a lot of authority and influence of the spiritual plane, what they call the unified field. So I've always tried to be very exacting and intentional in what I project into that field.
Absolutely. Whenever asked about the meaning behind one of your most famous tunes, On Lonesome Road, you've always given the explanation that it was, quote-unquote, written for a girl I'd hoped to meet in another life. Could you possibly tell us about your perspective on the notion of reincarnation in past lives?
Well, Tom, they say that if you remembered your past lives, you wouldn't want to go out of your house.
Do you agree with that statement?
Well, I already don't very much like going out of my house, so you tell me.
Hello?
Hello?
Demitri, you've been very quiet as of late about any future projects with new material coming up on the horizon. Can you tell us about anything you've been working on as of late?
No.
No.
What about touring? Do you have any plans to tour?
Jesus Christ, ask him some real fucking
No,
questions.
I do not.
Obviously.
All right, well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you today, Demitri. Would you care to leave us off with any closing remarks?
Yeah. Everyone quit listening to the fucking radio. Get yourselves out there and start listening to each other.
Alrighty then. Thank you so much, Demitri.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Goodbye now.
We'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsors.
Thanks, Grandma. No, I'm stopped in Slidell right now to pick up some gas and an ice cream. Hey, did someone from the firm call Mrs. Delancey to tell her I was coming over? Okay, and they said for Friday the 28th, correct? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Don't tell me Bill's still sore about that. You tell him I won this story fair and square. Yep. I'll be good. Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
Who are you?
Hello, I'm Claudia Romero, and you must be Mrs. Delancey?
Uh-huh. What about it?
Well, I'm with the Times-Picayune. I'm here to do that editorial about your late husband in honor of the 25th anniversary of his passing. I believe someone should have called you last week about my coming out here to interview you.
I don't remember that.
I understand. May I come in?
Be my guest. I have my ladies over for bingo night, but they don't bite. Come on in.
They walk their dog and we talk like that. And she said,
That there is Gilbert, Edna, and Marge.
Oh, two Ednas.
This here's Claudia. She's here to write about Demitri.
your kid?
No, my husband.
The dead one?
Yes, Edna, the dead one.
Oh.
It's very nice to meet you all. So, where would be a good place to do the interview?
Well, anyways, Do we need to do that right now?
Well, I don't need to do it right now, but I figured the sooner I could sit you down and ask you some questions, the sooner I could get you back to your bingo night.
All right, let's get this over with. Ladies, y'all gonna have to excuse me for a little while, because Miss Clara here, she wants to do an interview.
Hey, nobody's ever done an interview about me. Why don't you ask me some questions, Claire?
Shut up, Edna. There ain't enough room in this interview for two Ednas.
You hush, Gil.
So the back patio should work this time. Well, you coming? I don't have all night.
Is that your son playing in there?
Yeah, don't remind me of him.
It sounds wonderful.
You like that kind of stuff. Woo! Good Lord, these mosquitoes are terrible. Come on, let's go inside. Shannon, this is much better inside. It's cooler, the air conditioner's on, and I'm not gonna put you through getting eaten alive by the mosquitoes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, because they'll just pick you up and carry you away.
So, Edna, I guess I'll start with asking you how you first met Demitri.
Let's see, that would have been about 15 years prior to Demitri Jr. being born. So, 84, 85. We met in Natchitoches at the Christmas festival. And he was hanging lights and I was singing in the choir. And I was kind of watching him, and then he fell off the ladder and he just fell right on his back, and he knocked the wind out of himself because he was just making this wheezing noise. So I saw him fall and ran over there, and I said, "What the hell are you doing falling off a ladder like that? You're gonna get yourself killed." Well, he started laughing and he said, "Well, whatever it takes to get a pretty little girl like you over to come talk to me." And I knew he was lying, because he used to tell me little lies like that to make me think I was cute all the time.
That's very sweet.
Yep, well, and about a month later, I was pregnant.
Just like that?
Just like that.
So Demitri Jr. has an older sibling?
He would have, but I miscarried that one.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
It happens, and I guess if I wouldn't have miscarried, then I wouldn't have had Demitri Jr.
Right. So when did y'all get married?
Well, we were never officially married, like legally from a judge or by a priest, but I always knew that Demitri and I were meant for each other. And it really took us a while. It took us a while before we even thought about having another kid.
I understand. What was life like with y'all together in those years before Demitri Jr.?
Well, it started out with just us doing our music. He had a little quartet. He played the saxophone and I sang. After a while, though, we just couldn't make ends meet. We needed some money. So I took to waitressing, and Demitri went to work at the paper mill in Bogalusa. And he hated it. He couldn't stand the smell, and he missed his music.
I'll bet.
So yeah, that was it. He quit. He went back to playing music, and I stuck to waitressing, and I didn't really mind it much.
Did you ever miss singing?
No, not really. Demitri was actually the musician.
I can't imagine how difficult it must have been for you to lose him.
Yeah, it was really tough for the first few years. You know, we had our differences for sure. I was really crazy about him. I just wish Demitri could have felt the same way about me.
What do you mean?
Well, Demitri was never unfaithful in a sexual way. It was always an affair of the heart. It always felt like his soul belonged to somebody else.
Was there a specific person you felt he was sort of connected to in a kind of spiritual way?
Well, it's hard to say. I had my suspicions because there's this one girl that Demitri was involved with. She was a dancer at one of the clubs before we met. So when we were together, they were pen pals for years. And she died a few days shortly before Demitri died himself.
Did you ever feel jealous of the relationship they had?
Oh, not really. I was kind of glad that Demitri could get all of his crazy ideas out of his head on paper. So the only thing that did bother me was Demitri used to dream about her. They were never sexual from what Demitri told me, but they were so vivid, and Demitri used to wake up crying.
Wow. So Ditri Jr. is quite the musician as well, I take it?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I wonder if it was Junior that killed my Demitri.
What?
Well, my Demitri was old and he wasn't in the greatest of health. And I think just the thought of him having this kid scared him to death. And he died 3 days right before Demitri Jr. was born.
It was a brain aneurysm, right?
That's what the doctor said.
That must have been really difficult for you to bring up your first child alone.
Well, it wasn't a walk in the park. It's taken a lot out of me over the years.
What was Demitri Jr. like as a child?
Well, Junior's always been somewhat of an odd bird. I've taken him to all kinds of specialists and doctors, psychologists, and they finally told me he had a condition called agoraphobia.
I used to have an uncle that dealt with that. Could hardly go outside without my aunt.
Well, that's just the way it is with Junior. He doesn't have anybody to go out with. You'd think it would be me, but it's not.
Well, how is it between the two of you now?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's my fault, maybe it's his. I just never been able to get that close to him.
Why do you think that is?
So it's just it's hard for me because I just notice the similarities between Junior and Demitri. It's almost like they're the same person.
I can imagine how that would be tough for you. Tough for anyone.
Yeah, don't get it twisted because I'm a crappy parent.
How does Demitri Jr. feel meeting new people inside the environments he feels safe in?
Well, you can try to talk to him, but don't expect to get too close to him.
I'd like to at least introduce myself, if that's okay. I don't think it'd be right to leave here and do the story without at least speaking to Dimitri's only son.
Well, suit yourself, hon, because I'm going to be with my girls for the rest of the night. Do you need me for anything else?
No, ma'am. I think I have everything I need. Thank you so much for your time.
Uh-huh. Shoot. He always locks this damn door. Demitri! Open the door! Demitri! Come on, I'm gonna have to take you around outside to the garage because I gotta get back to my ladies.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you like that. I really like the music.
Thank you. But who are you?
I'm Claudia Romero with the Times-Picayune. I don't know if your mother already told you, but I'm here to cover a story that would pay tribute to your father in honor of the 25th anniversary of his passing.
Oh. Okay.
It's very nice to meet you.
I've got the strangest feeling I've met you before.
Where?
Somewhere.
You know, but then also. So I took him out. That's why I'm late, because I took him for a little walk, and I had to go in and take a shower and fix my hair and everything.
Then we found
So I
out
brought
from
him
my
back
friend
on the
about her
trail.
experience with the
And
raccoons coming
I'm
in
just
her
so glad it
house, like
wasn't real
in
muddy
the
back
morning,
there.
like
But
waiting for their
he did
meals.
good.
Yeah.
He did
So,
real good.
yeah.
And
So we
he
ended
looked
up
at the
not even doing
bayou
that.
and
That's why.
kind of sniffed around, and
we actually
he
pulled him
listened to
in,
me.
and I
He
told
didn't
Ryan,
like
I wanna
just
make
want to. Weeds of hair, and you can they brush him every day, but still
Their
his
hips
like
are or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Now, the Shelties were pretty good little dogs.
yeah, Shelties are so cute. Are they real hyper?
The ones we had were closer to the herd. They wanted the herd. They weren't too
Yeah,
hyper.
they can't cuddle up like this and get in a small space.
As far as they were concerned, they
I
were
did not
supposed to
know
protect
that.
anything that
Yeah,
you can set a timer on it so that and it comes with a
But
collar.
he's just like this, you know,
And he
his
just
legs
does
straight
like that.
back.
He doesn't have to talk to the dog too much.
Yes, with the leaves and everything. Yeah.
He used to do that to me, but he doesn't
Not that far north though. Not
Isn't that
New
bizarre?
North. That
It
was
is.
a little bit farther south. So,
Okay.
but it was still pretty.
I never understood dogs. I grew up around.
Yeah, Jaws 1 and Jaws 2. Demitri?
I'm in the
Jaws
Louisiana
at 50?
National Guard.
Hello? Oh, hey there, coworker Bill. No, I'm heading up tomorrow. Because I'm staying the night. Because Miss Delancey offered. Look, I know that 3.5 hours isn't that long of a drive, but she insisted, so I'm staying. I'll tell you all about it when I'm back. Or you can read about it in my editorial. I don't want to hear it. Okay, I'm hanging up. Bye-bye. Is it okay if we start?
Okay.
What was it like for you, growing up without a father?
I think a better question might be, what was it like growing up with only a mother?
Only a mother?
I mean, you've met the woman. You must have gotten the impression that our relationship is somewhat estranged. No, it wasn't easy growing up with just a mother like that.
I didn't have a mother.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Could you tell me about your relationship with that saxophone?
It was a gift from my father. He bought it for me shortly before he had died. It's the most important thing to me in this world. It's how I speak.
Who do you speak to when you play? How long have you been playing for?
Ever since I can remember. My saxophone has always been there. And my mom, she has a complete collection of every single record my father ever recorded. And not even just the ones he was a band leader on, but she has every single credit of his to date. So I just started listening to all of them and transcribing them by ear, learning his solos, all the changes. I've never had anyone to play with, so I just played along to the record.
Do you remember the first record you ever played to?
Yeah, it was the Unified Field. That's the one he wrote on Lonesome Road for, if you've heard of that one.
Yes, I have. They played it on the radio just the other day, actually.
That's my favorite tune my father ever recorded.
That was what you were playing when I walked in, right? I recognize that progression.
It was, yeah. It wasn't the standard version, though. When I was younger, I found a box of cassettes in the attic that contained copies of the original master tapes for a bunch of my father's old recording sessions, like alternative takes, extended takes, rough mixes. They're nice because some of them don't contain all of the instrumental tracks on them, put together and everything. So I can play along to it without hearing my father.
What do you think On Lonesome Road really means?
How so? Like what is it about, or who is it about?
Sure.
Well, Claudia, you're asking the wrong guy. My father hated talking about the meanings behind his songs, so he just didn't. He never even told my mom, so I don't know.
Well, when you play it and when you feel it in your lips, in your fingertips, in your tongue, what do you think it's about?
It's about a woman. She has red hair. It's not ginger. It's red. Red like those curtains behind me. She dances. She touches me. There was something separating us before, but now it's gone. I know this woman. She's not of this world, but maybe another one. That's who it's about.
What do you think the significance of the title is?
There's a road in the city. It's called Lonesome Road, and I've never been there, but I found an old Polaroid of the road sign in a box of my father's things.
Did your father meet someone on that road?
I don't know. My mom just always told me that that was the road he was walking down when he wrote the song. When he came up with it and said,
Wow. Would you like me to take you there?
no. No.
I understand.
25, that's 25.
Oh, bingo. I got bingo. Oh, shit. Yes.